Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gora Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gopinata Radha Gopinata Radhe Jaya Jagannath Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladeva Devi Subhadra Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Jaya Jaya Gurudev Gurudev Gurudeva Jaya Gurudev Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Narayana Namaskritya Naranchaiva Naruttamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Nastapraya Svabhadrisu Nityam Bhagavati Sevaya Bhagavati Utama Sloke Bhakti Bhagavati Nastiki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Ayanam Trimanandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajevam Sadhuetam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanasute Devi Panamami Hari Priya Panchakapata Rubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai His Comfounder Acharya Jagaguru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna everyone, we welcome everybody to today's session of What's the Hell? explaining the different types of hellish planets and describing what goes on there, and the activities, the actions that one will qualify one to actually be in this kind of hell. So like we always say, the goal is not to put fear or to kind of exaggerate situations, but then to give us understanding of what we are doing, so we can be able to make good choices and good decisions in order not to end up in any of the hellish conditions or hellish planets. So we are going to continue our reading today from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 26, and we'll continue from text 31. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, chapter 6, entitled The Hellish Planets. Continuation from text 31. Sanskrit recitation. Ye tui havai purusa mede na yachante yascha striyo nripasun kadanti tam cha te pasava eva nihata yama sadane yata nyanto raksho ganaso nika eva swaditi na vadayak srik pibanti rityanti cha kayanti cha risyamana yateha purusadaha. Word for word translation. Ye persons who, to but iha in this life, va indeed, purusa men, purusa medana by sacrifice of a man, yajante worship the goddess Kali or Badra Kali, ya dosu cha and striya women, nre pasun the men used as sacrifice, kadanti it turn them, cha and te they, pasava eva like the animals, nihata being slain, yama sadane in the abode of Yamaraj, yata yantaha punishing, rakshaganaha being rakshasas, saunikaha the killers, eva like swaditina by a sword, avadaya cutting to pieces, asrik the blood, pibanti drink, nrityanti dance, cha and gayanti sing, cha also, risimanaha being delighted, yata just like, iha in this world, purusa ada the man eaters. So translation to this particular verse is as follows. There are men and women in this world who sacrifice human beings to Bhairava or Bhadrakali and then eat their victims' flesh. Those who perform such sacrifices are taken after death to the abode of Yamaraj, where their victims, having taken forms of Rakshasas, cut them into pieces with sharpened swords, just as in this world, the man-eaters drank their victims' blood, dancing and singing in jubilation. Their victims now enjoy drinking the blood of the sacrifices and celebrating in the same way. So this is for those who perform these barbaric sacrifices, by killing or slaughtering human beings for material gains. And this is not something new these days. People actually, they make life, or they kind of have a life with this. And it's quite unfortunate. And sometimes when we talk about this stuff, people think that they are going to be free from the reactions of the activities because they are not caught by the laws of the state, or because they are very powerful, they have authority, therefore they can one way or the other find their way out of the clutches of the law. But then anybody who performs human sacrifice, this is what is going to await you. Human sacrifice these days is not something far-fetched. It is being done each and every day by power drunk people, by materially motivated people who have no other goal than to victimize people to satisfy their own materialistic pursuits. And for such people, this is what is going to await them. That they're going to be put in this kind of hell, and the victims who they killed are now going to also become Rakshasas who are going to kill them in turn and drink their blood, dance in jubilation, stab them with sharp swords from all directions. So we should be wary. I mean, people do these nasty rituals thinking that they are wanting some short-term material results, and forgetting that after doing all these things, one would have to suffer the consequences. Actually, according to the Manu Samhita, the punishment for one who slaughters or kills another human being is that he has to also be slain if he wants to actually have the peace, or he wants to reduce the consequences of activities. Then what would happen? He would have to do what? He would have to be killed himself. That is what it was called capital punishment. But these days, usually when they're saying it is inhumane, therefore when one commits murder, he has to be put in prison and all that. But then this is not just he killing based on self-defense or anything. He's actually using human beings for black art, for these nasty rituals to satisfy material gains. And for such people who are actually doing these activities, this kind of hell is awaiting them. So let's go to text 32. In this life, some people give shelter to animals and birds that come to them for protection in the village or forest. And after making them believe that they will be protected, such people pierce them with lances or threads and play with them like toys, giving them great pain. After death, such people are brought by the assistance of Yamaraj to the hell known as Sulapruta, where their bodies are pierced with sharp needle-like lances. They suffer from hunger and thirst, and sharp-beaked birds such as vultures and herons come at them from all sides to tear their bodies. Tortured and suffering, they can then remember the sinful activities they committed in the past. I mean, you cannot use another being suffering as your source of joy or happiness by piercing innocent animals with thread, or making them stuffed, what do you call it, stuffed animals or something. There are some people, when they go out for hunting, they will catch their game. That is what they call them. They call them the game, whether it's an antelope or whatever. And then they will put some chemicals and all that and make them stuffed animals, where they will put them in their living room or in their offices as trophies for what they have achieved. So such people are dead men walking. Because when we leave this world, the suffering which is awaiting us is excruciating. And so these people who actually capture animals and then make them feel like they are going to protect them, they're going to tend for them, they're going to take care of them, but use them as toys by piercing them with needles, and just taking pleasure in their suffering. This is the result of such heinous activities. Most of, like we were talking about yesterday, most of our these what do you call it, um, people who try to, these pharmaceutical agencies trying to find vaccination for some kind of problems they created in the first place. They 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 experiment on, I mean, hundreds of animals, especially, I mean, rats and sometimes monkeys, to be able to justify whether they have actually been able to successfully, I mean, create a vaccine. But in so doing, they kill a lot of animals. And they want to justify the point that they were using to solve, I mean, problems of life. But it is not justifiable. So for such people who actually torture animals and then put them into excruciating pain, all in the name of satisfying their pleasure, these are psychopaths. You know, psychopaths are these people who kill people just to enjoy. They'll stab people, and they'll I mean, they'll do all these crazy stuff. And when they do these things, it gives them some sort of happiness. So such people, I mean, they are going to be punished by the laws of the state. And it is not just about human beings or causing what you call it homicide or whatever. But then when we murder any other living entity, which includes that of animals, unregulatedly, just for the satisfaction of our interest, of our enjoyment, then we should know that this hell is waiting for us. So this kind of hell is I mean, for the past four types of descriptions that we've talked about, it's about those who are actually killing animals, killing human beings for their own enjoyment. This is the kind of hell which is going to be awaiting them. Therefore, we should be wary of our activities. We keep mentioning this. We should be extremely wary of our activities. Because whatever we are doing with this body, whatever we are doing, we are going to be accountable. Text 33. Those who in this life are like envious serpents, always angry and giving pain to other living entities, fall after death into the hell known as Dandasuka. My dear king, in this hell, there are serpents with 5 or 7 hoods. These serpents eat such sinful persons, just like snakes eat mice. This is quite. This is... So, an envious person is likened to that of a snake. And an envious person is always angry. It is always angry because he's not happy with his life. And because he's not happy in his life, he wants to torment others to also be in the same situation that he is finding himself. You never find an envious person happy. They are not, and they will never be happy. Because they're having skin pain, they're having bodily pains from all directions. Mentally, bodily, and they are underachievers. They are depressed with their own shortcomings. And because of that, they would always want to give pain to others, because they want others to feel what they are feeling. An envious man is a very dangerous fellow. Envy is one disease which is extremely difficult to uproot. Extremely difficult. Actually, it is said that the cause of we being in this material world is envy. Envy of God and his supremacy. We also want to play like God. I mean, why is it that you are the only one who has to be hailed, who has to be worshipped, who has to be glorified? We also want to become gods. Therefore, we are here to play God. And now we understand being God is not so enjoying. So envy is one demonic quality which is extremely dangerous. Because one who is envious, he is angry, he is lusty, he is ignorant, he is, all the vices are, inborn. They are part of him. So envy can give birth to lust, greed, anger, ignorance or foolishness, and all these things. So an envious person should always be rejected. An envious person should always be given distance. Otherwise, their envy will consume. Envy is in such a way that before it consumes the person who we are envying, we consume ourselves first. It is one quality which burns like fire. And it's very difficult to conquer, it's very difficult to satisfy, it's very difficult to cool envy. And envy also comes when there is no love. When one is not feeling any sort of love and within himself. Therefore, he becomes an envious serpent. But then one who loves will be loved. Actually, depression and all these diseases that we are giving names to, they are all born of envy. Envy is one quality that each and every one of us should pray to overcome. Because whenever we are envious, we can go crazy. We will do the most obnoxious activity without even we knowing the extent or how far we have actually gone. So an envious person is likened to that of a serpent. Serpents carry venom. Venom, and all venomous snakes. They are very dangerous. Therefore, nobody wants to associate with them. But with these kind of snakes, with which we are talking about here, they are not just one-hooded. Even one-hooded cobra is extremely poisonous. That his one poison alone can kill countless of people. But in this case, it's not just one-hooded cobra, but then several hooded. It said here sometimes there are 7 serpents with 5 or 7 hoods, and each of the hoods has its own special kind of venom to attack. And the different types of venoms has different way. How it's going to really have effect on the body. Therefore, we are being poisoned by 3 head or 5 or 7 headed snakes at a go. Because that is what we deserve. An envious person is likened to that of a serpent. So if we do not want to end up in this kind of hellish condition, we should try to take care of our envy. We should try to transform our envy to love. If we do not do this, and we wait till we leave this body, and it will be difficult. And Baba Gita Krishna told Arjuna, because you are not envious of me, therefore I'm going to reveal my transcendental nature to you. We have been envious of God since time immemorial. And this envy has become so deep-rooted that we are thinking this envy to be our right. Like we feel it to be it's our rightful claim to do all this crazy stuff we are doing. But we do not know that it is only born out of envy. Envy is one quality which we should always be looking in within our hearts to try to reduce and try to try to take it off as far as we can. Because with envy, there is nothing wonderful that we can do with an envious consciousness. So, my dear king, in this hell, there are serpents with 5 or 7 hoods, and these serpents eat such sinful persons, just like snakes eat mice. So, text 34. Those who in this life confine other living entities in dark wells, granaries, or mountain caves are put after death into the hell known as Avata Nirodhana. There, they themselves are pushed into dark wells where poisonous fumes and smoke suffocate them. They suffer very severely. So these are what we call kidnappers. Kidnappers. People who would want to take people hostage to satisfy their own material demands. After death, they are put into this kind of hell called Avata Nirodhana, where they themselves are pushed into dark wells where poisonous fumes and smoke suffocate them, and they suffer very severely. Text 35. A householder who receives guests or visitors with with cruel glances. Why are you here? Who has asked you to come here? Mentally, you are thinking, why have you come? You are here to give burden to me. You are here to reduce my stock of food. You are here to do this. So a householder who receives guests or visitors with cruel glances, as if to burn them to ashes, is put into the hell called Pariyavatana, where he is gazed at by hard-eyed vultures, herons, and crows, and similar beasts, which suddenly swoop down and plug out their eyes with great force. There are some people you dare not come to their house uninvited, or gone are the days in the civilized times, whenever you finish cooking, you have to go out and make an announcement that I am done cooking. Please, somebody should come. I'm calling on guests to come and feast with us. And if nobody comes to feast, the host will cry like anything that nobody likes me, nobody likes my food because I'm so sinful, because I'm like this, because I'm polluted, therefore nobody wants to eat in my house and all that. But these days, we have fences, big fences, very high. And after the high fences, we have these wire meshes which cover the tops. And we have iron steel gates to protect the entrance. And then, that was not still enough. We have able bodyguards standing in front of the gate with their rifles, with their guns on them. And then, if you manage to enter even the house, there is a very heavy steel gate at the entrance of the building itself before you enter. Therefore, the whole communication is that, and otherwise, do you know what happens? At the gates, they will put beware of dogs. Beware of ferocious dogs. Then they will bring one head of a very huge, picture of a very huge dog. These bulldogs, these, canine dogs. That beware. Even if you're able to escape my security guard, even if you're able to escape my wired fences, even if you're able to escape my steel gates, I'm telling you, beware of dogs. And of course, you enter, there is these ferocious dogs coming from all sides. And the question is, what are we protecting ourselves from? And whom are we afraid that we want to protect ourselves with all these different layers of security? Haven't we heard that somebody has all these first class security facilities, different tiers, different levels of security, but in his bedroom he goes and sleeps and never wakes up again without he being attacked by any external force? So if you think that death is coming to come from your outside your gate and knock on your door or push your door open or try to attack your dogs and come to you, then it's a lie. Whenever we go to bed, we are sleeping with death. Whenever we go to the shower, we go there with death. Whenever we are smiling and we are in a happy moment, we are there with death. Whenever we are sad, we are there with death. Why? Because we were born in this life. As soon as we are born, death is part of the package. So as soon as we are born, we begin to die. Therefore, all these different layers of security is not going to give us the ultimate protection which we are looking for, which is protection from death. It may hold it on to some extent, but it will not ultimately protect us from death. So the civilized times, people did not have fences to protect from who? There were no thieves, everybody was peaceful in their practice. Everybody was, that was what we called community. These days, we do not have communities, but we have commodities. Whenever we see you, this guy, he does not have this. Let me think what I can sell for him to make profit. Oh no, this guy is coming. I think he's going to cheat me. So let me cheat him before he cheats me. Or this or that. And we have replaced community with commodity. Therefore, even when somebody is coming to our house as guests to bless us, we become extremely inimical towards the person. We do not give room, we do not give access for anybody to actually visit us. But you might not know who that guest may be. Perhaps it might be a divine personality in the guise of a human being coming to give blessings. Or perhaps it could also be a demon as well. But then it is said that if somebody comes to your house as a guest, even if that person is your enemy, your sworn enemy, you have a responsibility to make sure that you feed him sumptuously, give him a place to sit. You have to give him all the facilities with which you would give God if he were supposed to come to your house. Therefore, in civilized ages, we were treating each and every guest as if the same treatment we will give God when he comes to our dwelling. Because those days, the demigods and these higher angelic beings, they would come in the guise of human beings just to give blessings or to test people, and if they pass the test, give them some sort of blessings and all that. So if you're always locking your doors, not giving access for people to enter your homes, then you are depriving yourself from blessings of the divine. So these people who would always feel, who are stingy and will not want to share the resources they have in their homes, by giving very awkward and dangerous glances to people who come to their homes as guests, this is the kind of hellish punishment with which we are going to go through. So let's take Shila purport to this verse. According to the Vedic etiquette, even if an enemy who comes to a householder's home should be received such gentle way that he forgets that he has come to the home of his enemy. Haribo, Haribaba. That even if your enemy comes to your home as a guest, you should treat the enemy so wonderfully that the enemy even forgets that you are actually his enemy. This is what we call civilization. But these days, we're going to have such a gentle or cool-headed person to treat his enemy like he would treat that of God if he comes to his home. Where would you find such person? Where? They are extremely rare. Extremely. Therefore, we should know why we are suffering. We should not blame our suffering on anybody, but we should know why we are suffering. Because we are not doing the right thing. We are not. So Prabhupada continued to say, a guest who comes to one's home should be received very politely. If he is unwanted, the householder should not stare at him with blinking eyes. For one who does so will be put into the hell known as Pariyavartana after death. And there many ferocious birds like vultures, crows, cockneys will suddenly come upon him and plug out his eyes. That eye with which you give that dangerous look. They're going to plug out that eye. Therefore, we should be careful how we treat our guests. We should be very careful how we treat our guests. You know, there's some people, you enter their home, and as soon as they welcome you, they ask you, oh, so when are you leaving? As soon as you get that signal, it means that you're not wanted here. Better you pack your stuff and go. Because the moment they welcome, they ask you, when are you leaving? It means that your coming there is not really welcomed. So better you pack your things and go. But it should not be like that. We should be each and everyone's, we should be our brothers and sisters keepers. Keeper means that we should be willing to give shelter. We should be willing to share our resources with others. If we don't have that attitude of sharing, then it will be difficult to actually receive the grace of God. I mean, in the Bible, they said, give us these days our daily bread as we forgive those who trespass against us. So if we try to become gentle on others, we try to tolerate others' shortcomings, and by welcoming them close to us, then we will become more susceptible and more qualified to receive the blessings of God. But then if we are stingy, we are hard-hearted, we are in the mood of I and mine, then it will be very difficult to get the Lord's mercy. Very difficult. Therefore, we should be willing to share. We should share whatever we have with others. Whether it is whatever resources that God has gifted or has given us, we should be willing to share. And in by sharing that we get the more. I mean, common people say, givers never lack, right? Givers never lack. So the more we give, the more we get. That is the laws of material nature. Text 36. One who in this world or in this life is very proud of his wealth always thinks, I am so rich. Who can equal me? His vision is twisted, and he is always afraid that someone will take his wealth. Baba. This is common. All of us, I mean, for rich people, they are always thinking, somebody might take my wealth. I might be the billionaire today, but if I don't keep on working, then tomorrow I'm not going to be a billionaire again. I'm going to be, a millionaire. which is a reduction of my prestige, of my wealth, of my opulence. This is crazy. His vision is twisted, and he is always afraid that somebody will take his wealth. Indeed, if he even suspects his superiors, his face and heart dry up at the thought of losing his wealth, and therefore he always looks like a wretched fiend. He is not in any way able to obtain actual happiness, and he does not know what is to be free from anxiety. Because of the sinful things he does to earn money, to earn money, his wealth, and because of the sinful things he does to earn money, augments his wealth and protect it, he is put into the hell called Suchi Muka, where the officials of Yamaraj punish him by stitching threads through his entire body, like weavers manufacturing clothes. Purport. When one possesses more wealth than necessary, he certainly becomes very proud. This is the situation of men in modern civilization. According to Vedic culture, Brahmanas do not possess anything, whereas Kshatriyas possesses riches, but only for performing sacrifices and other noble activities prescribed in Vedic injunctions. A Vaishya also earns money honestly through agriculture, cow protection, and some trade. If a Sudra gets money, however, he will spend it lavishly without discriminating or simply accumulating it for no purpose. Because in this age there is no qualified Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, or Vaishyas, almost everyone is a Sudra. Kalo Sudra Sambhava. Therefore, the Sudra mentality is causing great harm to modern civilization. A Sudra does not know how to use money to render transcendental loving service to the Lord. Money is also called Lakshmi, and Lakshmi is always engaged in the service of Narayan. Wherever there is money, it must be engaged in the service of Lord Narayan. Everyone should use his money to spread the great transcendental movement of Krishna consciousness. If one does not spend money for this purpose but accumulates more than necessary, he will certainly become proud of the money he illegally possesses. The money actually belongs to Krishna, who says in Bhagavad Gita 5:29, Bhuktaram Yajya Tapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the true enjoyer of all sacrifices and penances, and I am the owner of all the planets. Therefore, nothing belongs to anyone but Krishna. One who possesses more money than he needs should spend it for Krishna. Unless one does so, he will become puffed up, and because of his false possessions, and therefore he will be punished in the next life, as described herein. So we should be very careful of our activities. I mean, Krishna is the fountainhead of everything. He is the source of everything. Bhuktaram. Sarva Loka. He is the source of all the material world and the spiritual world, including everything within it and without. Therefore, what belongs to us? And what have we done? What have we created? We are not the originators. At best, we are only inventors. Invention means that we take inspiration from the original and try to replicate. But that does not make you a creator. And the fact that you are not a creator means that you are not a possessor. So anybody who thinks that this is I and mine, I am this, I am that, and this is mine, this is for me, it should be used for me and me only. For such a person, he is described as a fool, and not just a fool, he is perfectly befooled. Proper use that in Bhagavad Gita. Perfectly befooled. So we should be very careful. We should not accumulate more than necessary. A devotee should be simple-hearted. We should be simple in our dealings. Simplicity means that we should take that which is necessary and reject that which is not necessary. And anything we get extra should be utilized for spreading God's mission and helping others to get to in connection with their maker. But then what is the point of accumulating and not spending? It does not make sense in any way. If you are accumulating and you are regarded as the billionaire, the trillionaire of the world, and so what? Being a billionaire means that the resources of billions of people have now entered into your pocket. And that is illegal. And therefore people are starving. They are suffocating because you have taken the resources with which hundreds and thousands of people are supposed to enjoy, and you have taken them as your property without sharing them. Therefore, you become an object of envy. And nobody is going to, people will flatter you, people will call you different names to glorify you, but all those glorifications are all envy. And for one who is envious and for one who is envied, you should be very careful. Because in any relationship which has envy as the binding principle is a dangerous one. It's dangerous. Therefore, we should not keep more than necessary. We should not. If we want to be peaceful. We are not peaceful because we are doing things which are not necessary. You are thinking of accumulating wealth for your grandchildren and their grandchildren and their grandchildren, and all these things are useless mentality. And at the end, what will happen? Not even your grandchildren, your own children will fight and kill each other for the things that you suffered for. You stole people's resources to keep for them, because the energy with which the resources were being taken was not clean. Your children, your grandchildren are going to become plunderers. They are going to become inimical towards each other. Why? Because the source of the money is not clean. The money was gained by or from cheating others. So you are thinking, oh, I'm going to accumulate a lot of things so that even my grandchildren will not suffer. They are going to suffer like anything. And their suffering is going to be caused by you. But you are thinking you are creating better lives for them. But no, that is not the case. That is not the case, my dear devotees. So we should be very careful. Therefore, there is the principle of Isavasya should always be followed. That God is the controller, He is the reservoir, He is the fountainhead, He is the source of everything. Therefore, everything should be utilized in His service. Money is not for anybody. Anybody who thinks that money is for me is only a fool. Another name for money we call Lakshmi. Sometimes Lakshmi. And another name for Lakshmi is Achanchala. It means that she does not stay at one place for long, especially a place where she's been abused. Abusing means that she's not being engaged in the service of her beloved. She's not being engaged in the service of God. For such a place, money will never retain. Cash inflow will come, but then accumulation will be extremely difficult. And you'll be asking yourself, but I've been working, I'm getting money, but I don't know what happens. And the money all of a sudden, it looks like everything. Baba, the money did not vanish, it did not vaporize. You spent it. And because you're in big illusion, you do not even know when you are spending it. And now you would want to go to a tantrix, you want to go to a pastor. Oh, my dear pastor, I have a big problem. I really gain a lot. The work I'm doing is quite good. But anytime I get money, everything leaks out. It vaporizes. My dear, money does not vaporize. You actually spent it. You spent it unregulatedly. So who are you going to blame? But for a devotee, he does not intoxicate, he does not engage in illicit sex, he does not gamble. He's regulated in his diet. Therefore, even if he has $1, he is able to maintain himself with it. Because that $1 is pure, it comes with purity, and it will expand. Therefore, you see a devotee is not really having a very, very active activity, but he is satisfied with the barest minimum that he has. He is contented with what he has. And one who has that contention will always be happy even with the barest minimum or the maximum, because he is self-sufficient. So it is said, to what would it profit a man if he gains the whole world, all these material facilities, and loses his very intelligence, his very own self, his intelligence to discriminate between right and wrong? What is the point of that wealth? And that wealth will itself attract envy. It will attract violence to you. I was telling someone that I'm not a fan of sports or football. I barely follow them. But if people who watch football could understand what is happening in that game, then we will learn the art of being charitable or giving. You see, you can have the most possessions. You can play within your center and possess like 80% of the passes and everything. But if you do not give up the ball to the net, all your possessions are useless. Because at the end of the day, what you are looking for is a goal. And that goal will come when you let go. But if you keep on getting attached to the ball, oh, I am a very skillful player, I want to dribble, I want to pass it to my opponent. And even if, let's say, that you want to be the star player, everybody, all eyes on me. You want to dribble from your pole to the other pole, and after you get to the other pole, you dribble back. How will people call you? They'll call you a fool. Because the goal is not just to dribble. And you become subjected to violence. All the opponents would want to actually attack you. And that will be a dangerous situation. And your fellow inmates will not be happy because you are a selfish player. And you are thinking you are creating possession for your team. Of course, you may create possession for your team. You may be playing 100% of the possessions. But if you're not passing to a fellow team member, then what sort of possession is that? And even if you are passing amongst yourselves as a team, and you don't go to the goal post of the opposite or the opponent party and drop that ball into the net, the possession within your circle is extremely useless. Because at the end of the day, what you are looking for is for one to score. So what is the point of gaining, of accumulating without sharing? You accumulate, and that accumulation will become a burden to you that one day will break your neck. And when that time comes, you'll be asking, oh God, why me? Why me? Why me? Why not you? It's because you're a fool. So it is not the duty of a human being to work like an ass, to accumulate a lot of things, and at the same time you are not able to enjoy it. Because at the end of the day, whatever resources that you accumulate in this lifetime, when you quit this body, you are never going to take any of them with you. When you go to Yamaraj about it, and the Yamadutas, when the Yamadutas come, you said, Baba, I forgot my $1 million in the bank account. Please give me a moment. I want to withdraw it so that as I'm going, I can buy some Ferrari on the road, because the sun is so hot. And you know, I'm a celebrity. I do not walk in the sun. So, my dear Yamadutas, please give me some time. Let me just go and cash out my money. They'll tell you you're a fool. Don't you know this money is useless now? It is completely useless. So what we should be investing in is our spiritual life. Not all these material things, not all these material investments. If we fail to invest in our spiritual life, then we have failed our own selves, not anybody, but our own selves. Because at the end of the day, we are going to suffer or enjoy the results of our activities. Therefore, we should really be careful of this consciousness of being the possessor, the I and mine consciousness. I am this. Oh, do you know who I am? Do you know who I am? Anytime you have a conversation with somebody, or let's say an argument, and the person goes like, do you know who am I? Do you know who I am? Do you know who my father? Do you know who I am? You'll be shocked, just out of it. I mean, with a cool voice, asking, I'm sorry, please, who are you? And then he will begin to think, okay, now the gimmicks is I cannot pretend like this. I have to now think, who am I? And then he will startle a bit. Oh, no, I'm the son of so. But I didn't ask you who your father is. I asked you, who are you, Baba? You are shouting that, you know who I am, and I'm asking, who are you? And he said, yes, I said I am the father of this political person. I am the father of this military man. I'm the father of this whatever. I said, Baba, is it that you do not understand the language which you are saying yourself? Who are you? And if he's really fortunate, you begin to reason to think, actually, who am I? I am only a crazy fellow making noise without having an understanding of who my real identity is. Because if we know who we are as souls, part and parcel of God, then that is the perfect knowledge. That is the highest thing. That one is the beginning of spiritual life. It's the beginning of life, actually. But then we are so proud. Do you know who I am? I am this, I am that, I am the this, I am the that. Crazy stuff. You are nobody. You are only a speck of dust in the shoreless ocean of varieties of unlimited universes. So you are nothing. Whatever, you are nobody. But an eternal part and parcel of God. That is our original identity. And when we are in school, we have all these mental crazy stuff are taught in school. They will tell you descriptive essay, myself. Then you write myself, you highlight, you underline. My name is so and so. The name of my father is, I come from, I am 2 feet tall. I am this, I am that, I am this. Beating around the bush. But that is not who you are. We do not ask you what is your age. We do not ask you how tall are you. We do not ask you what is your name. We do not ask you what is the name of your father. We say, who are you? And then you are fumbling. And all this crazy stuff is being taught from school. what we term as cool. It's a social engineering with which they change our even the basic understanding of life. Now we do not know who we are. We are thinking that we are from this tribe, we are from this race, we are from this species, we are from this, but all be lie. All be lie. We are none of all these things. I remember one time in my DM, there was this guy who was always, you are an African. You have to preach like an African. You have to walk like an African. You have to talk like an African. So I asked him, my dear, who is an African? Now you are staying on this land. Do you know of migration? None of us came from it. You are claiming this land. You say you are a son of the soil. But then this was somebody's property that you came to inherit. You were coming from somewhere. So where are you coming from actually? If we trade, all our ancestors were moving. Nobody was staying. You move from one place to the other. So it will give us an understanding that all of us we're having a source with which we are all coming from. So who is actually the original African? And he was blah talking all sort of funny stuff. And I said, my dear, I'm not doing anything than the original. What we are talking about, what we are teaching, this is Sanatana Dharma. This is the eternal occupation of the soul. This is the original religion with which all of us were following. And I'm not telling you that my ancestors are angry with me. They are actually cheering us up. They are actually sending us their support. They are actually praying for us. They are actually rooting for us. And if you do not know, do not speculate. We claim, oh, I am this, I am that, I am this, I am that. But my dear, you are not the body. The moment you die, all this I am. You call yourself, I am a professor of whatever department. I'm a doctor, professor, emeritus. But you know the funny thing is, when you die, when you leave this body, in your next reincarnation, you are going to start again in class 1 and you learn A for apple, B for ball. And all the things that you learned, all those article, whatever, you're a lawyer, you know all the articles from A to Z. Next life, you are now going to be learning how to speak. You want to talk and you are talking crazy stuff. You would have to be educated in a school again to understand how to speak. So if you think that you are a lawyer, if you think you are a doctor, if you think you are black, you are white, you are indigo, you are whatever, that is just crazy stuff. We are none of all these crazy stuff. But then we are the soul, eternally part and parcel of God. And just as I always make this analogy, just as we say pure water is colorless, for one who is a pure soul, or one who has actually realized himself as a soul, he will see the color less. The color, this is black man, this is white man, this is brown man. He will see those things less. Quite some years ago, there was this demonstration because Floyd, one black American, was unlawfully killed by this white policeman. And there was a huge demonstration all over the world. Black lives matter. Black lives matter. But my dear, this black life, white life, brown life, whatever life, all those things do not matter because this body is just matter. It's just matter, bag of flesh and bones. And it does not really matter. What matters is the soul. Because today you are saying black lives matter. The next life, if you become a white man, then you say white man's life matter, or white life matter. And when you become an animal, you say animals have right, animals life matter. And when you become a woman, you say feminism. When you become a man, masculine power. So you see, these things are crazy stuff. And all these things, we have been socially engineered to think that this is what we should be looking out for. This is what we are. But that is not the case. So we should not be accumulating all this crazy stuff, all this funny energy, thinking this and that. But we should have the understanding that we are all parts and parcel of God. Everything belongs to God, including our very soul, our very self, including our body with which we are carrying. It's God's property. We all came here naked. Naked. None of you came here with something. You didn't even come with a fingernail. You were naked. And now you want to claim proprietorship. This is my building. This is my... It is quite funny. This is my land. This is my father's... Your father died and left this land behind, and you are claiming it is your father. I mean, can't we learn sense that we are also going to die and leave this thing behind? And now we are fighting and killing each other for a plot of land which does not belong to us. This is crazy. This is what we call Maya. Illusion. So we should be careful of our activities so that we do not fall victims of this illusion of the world. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. We're going to end the discussion here today on text 36. So tomorrow we are not going to have a class on Bhagavatam. It will be a Bhagavad Gita class at the temple hall. And we are left with a few text. We are going to finish at test 40 and we are now at test 37. So in our next meeting, I'm sure we are going to end this What's the Hell series, understanding the different types of hell and the description of hell. So thank you very much for joining, and if anybody has any, we'll take a few questions, maybe one or two. If anybody has any question or comments they would want to raise, please feel free to ask.